Metropolitan Television. Good evening and welcome to Our Report here on Metropolitan Television. Our Report is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and it is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The show is streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Port of Tema. Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Eye on Port Ghana. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. And so if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab a Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. As usual, we shall be getting interactive with you, and all you have to do is send your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559 019 177. 0559 019 177. Now, when I pick signals from the production team that the time is ripe in the course of the discussion, I shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, Goyle makes good things happen. This time, Goyle has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goyle has that sorted. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And in the course of the week, the Minister for Finance, the Honorable Ken Oforiatta, together with some officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority, paid a working visit to the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Plus, the fact that the Ghana Revenue Authority also in the course of the week organized a media engagement with various stakeholders to outline some policies and some issues that they wished to share with the generality of the Ghanaian public. Plus, also that the Port of Amsterdam international officials also paid a working visit to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Lugoje, has confirmed the authority's support when it comes to implementing government strategy to block any revenue leakage at the ports of Ghana. He revealed that the modern conveyor system being installed at the dry bulk terminal in Takoradi will do away with any concerns surrounding the under-declaration of bulk cargo volumes received at the port.
Modern conveyor system that has been installed in Takoradi will let us recover from this fear of losing because of under declaration of bulk cargoes for exports. But that system, as it loads, will automatically calculate the volumes it is carrying. And for Tema, the Weighbridge project will help us for all our dry bulk cargoes that come in and also go up. And we are ready to support in this direction.
The GPHA boss also said his outfit will provide the government with its detailed input for the operationalization of the no duty, no exit policy initiative intended to block revenue leakages.
Issue of the policy of no duty, no exit. I think we have in our own discussions acknowledged that the ports are already no duty, no exit enclaves. They are already no duty, no exit enclaves, but maybe the methodology is what is now going to be new. Otherwise, that has been the practice in Ghana ports. And we are looking at that whole, having participated in the committee that drafted the implementation modalities. We are assessing them, and I think in the course of next week we'll be presenting some information to you to help in the way forward in this decision.
These assurances were made when the Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta led a delegation to visit the Port Authority to strengthen collaboration towards finding lasting solutions to challenges associated with revenue collection at the ports. Present at the meeting were the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ameshadai Owusu-Amoah, and Acting Commissioner of Customs, Seidu Idrisu Idisa.
We try to tighten things, and things are a bit different. So, for example, what do we say? No duties, no exit. Obviously, it will be sort of new, and maybe it will create, some difficulties for the systems as you know them today. But if we look at the totality of what the country will benefit from, what adjustments then should we make? We've all gone to school enough to know that if we put our minds to something, it can be done. Okay, and the old ways are not going to continue to be the old ways. So that's a challenge. How do we collaborate, speak the same language, and realize that the resources that we have for the nation are a lot more than we perceive.
The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Ameshadai Owusu-Amoah, has revealed that the tax revenue performance for September 2022 was 7.4 million as against a target of 7.1 million. This, according to him, shows a positive deviation of 4.6%, which represents 29.8% of its year-to-date performance. Speaking during an interaction with the media in Accra, he said customs revenue also grew nominally by 29.8% for the same period.
Customs, particularly for this September, did very well and exceeded even the stretch target by 246 million. If you take the stretch target, their year-to-date variance was 274 million. And in September alone, they exceeded it by 246 million, therefore reducing the year-to-date variance by about 240 million, bringing it down to around 60 million.
The Commissioner General said the authority is implementing a number of tax policy initiatives to boost revenue generation this year.
We have introduced the GRA Taxpayers Portal, basically a portal that allows you to log in to see your own tax activities. Again, we have also introduced the electronic VAT invoicing. It's connected to the invoicing system of the merchants. And as the merchants trade, we see every invoice, to the extent that we can even see whether the person bought 3 tins of milk or 5 tins of milk. We can see everything. And we have introduced a new excise stamp tax authenticator, which is also an app, and it allows you to use your phone to test whether what is on the bottle is genuine or not.
As part of the measures to improve revenue for the state, he said the authority will be piloting an e-auction module on the integrated customs management system.
Again, one of the things that people have also complained over the years is auction. And I'm glad to also announce that we have finished the electronic auction and it's online. And our target is that from 15th October, we are loading some of the items available for auction on this system as a pilot phase, and every citizen is free to go there, look at the vehicle, see the picture, decide on what you want to pay for it.
He said in order to achieve its revenue target for the year 2022, GRA is adopting strategies to ensure that all loopholes are sealed with the rollout of rigorous enforcement and compliance measures.
The managing director of the Port of Amsterdam International has led a delegation on a working visit to senior management of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The visit, according to the group, was to intensify existing ties between the Port of Amsterdam and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The two parties shared their business portfolios.
When it comes to the cargo loading and offloading services are also provided by both ports in Tema and Takoradi. We have our own stevedores, and then we also have private stevedores that we have licensed to operate. And this generates a form of competition.
So we team up together with the private companies, with the terminal operators. But we are acting in the umbrella of creating a business environment which is attractive for other parties. So that's our role.
The parties also explored potential areas of cooperation such as green ports agenda, commercial strategy of the ports, and optimizing supply chain procedures, among others.
We are receiving some proposals from private sector to develop wind farms to be able to help generate power to sell to the port. Yeah. So we are discussing that, and I think at the national level that has become a subject of interest. A particular agency has been designated to coordinate all the renewable energy projects for the country. So I think that would be a very good area to learn, how far you have gone, and what kind of future preparation should be in place if we want to get there, what we should be looking at from today.
The meeting concluded with both the Ghanaian and Dutch sides hopeful of signing a memorandum of understanding to guide future business cooperation. 15 students from the Zambian Defense Services Command and Staff College have visited the port of Tema as part of a study tour to familiarize themselves with the socio-political, economic institutions of Ghana. These included students from Zambia, Rwanda, Namibia, Botswana, Tanzania, Kenya, and Sri Lanka. They were received at the security department of GPHA, where they were briefed on the investments made to shore up security of the port and its environs.
There's this company called Variant School of Learning from Israel. They have reps in Ghana who give us quarterly training. Once computer system or IT knowledge improves, so if there is any development or improvement, they come and they orient us.
Deputy Security Manager at the Port of Tema, Samuel Ajete, indicated that initiatives embarked on by GPHA over a decade ago have yielded much results.
The strategy we took was to deploy on board all vessels to ensure persons going on board, we have records on them, and then after close of work, we check them same down, so that at the end of every shift, we are able to detect if somebody is on board or somebody tried to hide somewhere.
Team lead Colonel Nelson Mwamba revealed that one particular interest of his outfit was to establish the synergy that exists between the national security and the port security.
So we want to see whether there is a linkage between the national security as well as the security at the Ghana ports. So with that, we are trying to see what is it that can emanate from the Ghana port security, which should be able to affect the entire national security.
Directing staff at the Staff College, Colonel Esther Molando said she was impressed with what she learned.
It actually gives a big assurance that apart from the Harbour Authority, which is looking at issues of revenue, we have got this association, or indeed this part which is looking at security. It is very good also to learn about the issues of maybe stowaway and also goods that are smuggled in the country, that there are vigorous measures that are being put in place so that we don't have such issues. It gives us a lot of assurance, not just of course for Ghana, but also for Africa.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. It's now time for us to take the word of the week. And the word of the week is brought to you to apprise you and bring you up to speed with the terms, that's terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. This week's word is transshipment. Transshipment.
A transshipment is when cargo or a container is moved from one vessel to another while in transit to its final destination.
All right, so welcome back. It's now time for us to zoom into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight we're taking a look at the transit trade. And we're looking at how we can bring about some interconnectivity to ensure that we do transit trade in a fluid and in a smooth manner. Now, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is deploying a system that they call SIGMAT. What is SIGMAT? We have brought in the Assistant Commissioner in charge of transit trade at the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to tell us more about this particular system that they are rolling out and how it will propel transit trade in our country and in the sub-region. And so it gives me pleasure this night or this evening to introduce to you AC, that's Assistant Commissioner Peter Antubreofori. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so we'll also be speaking to Mr. Felix Kwachi via Zoom. Mr. Felix Kwachi is a Principal Program Officer and Head of Division, and that's Tariff and Customs Procedures at the ECOWAS Commission. He'll also be joining us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
Great. Good to have you, Mr. Kwachi. We're happy to have you. Just yesterday, one of your former schoolmates, Elder Samuel Aja, when he saw the poster that we're going to have this show and you were part of the team, one of the discussants, he said I should express, I should send you his greetings though, and I also say he misses you, try and get in touch with you. And so if you know Mr. Samuel Aja, your schoolmate in Legon, he said back in the day, I think that was 1987 or so, he sent his regards to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and my greetings to Sammy.
Great.
I'll get in touch.
Absolutely, sure. Thank you very much indeed. So let me start with you, Mr. Antubreofori, and find out from you what the SIGMAT thing is about. What is SIGMAT?
Thank you very much. And once again, I would want to greet your listeners and particularly students from Sudbury Secondary School and then also school Americans. Right. When we say SIGMAT, it is a French accolade, which means the interconnected system for the management of transit goods. Now, I would say again, when we say transit goods, transit consignment, transit goods, it is part of the suspense regime in the process of customs regimes. Now, when we say suspense regime, they are goods imported into the country, but the revenue or taxes on it are suspended because the goods are not directly going to be consumed in Ghana. And so when you look at the transit trade, we have certain countries in the sub-region that are landlocked.
Yes.
They do not have access directly to the sea or to the world market.
We're talking about the West African sub-region. So we're talking about Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the WCO had made it, had developed a system where they can also access the sea at limited cost.
Absolutely.
As it is now, if you take a country like Niger, it is producing a lot of onions, But to even export the onions, it must travel all the way from Niger, maybe to the Tema port before, and the cost involved. And so the system is such that those countries that are landlocked, or those goods that are not going to be consumed in Ghana directly, there should be a regime that will allow its movement. And so it is transiting. It is going away from Ghana. So those goods, we do not exact duties on them. And so when we say ZIGMAT, we are saying that how do we facilitate the movement of these goods? And so ZIGMAT, it is an interconnected system for the management of transit goods. It is an IT solution that will enhance communication among the sub-regions, the customs administration in the sub-region. Yes.
Okay. So, so far, have you started this particular project? Have you rolled it out already? Or when are you looking at deploying it?
Okay, so so far in the sub-region, we have a country like Mali, Niger, which is most connected. Niger is connected to about 5 countries. That is to Burkina Faso, to Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and now they are also doing very well to connect to Togo.
Right.
When you come to Ghana, in fact, the English-speaking countries in the sub-region, none of us have been able to connect. And it is so because what the ECOWAS Commission seeks to do is to allow for automation of all the customs administration in the sub-region.
Right.
And so right now, there are certain countries that are yet to automate their system. A country like Liberia, Sierra Leone, and even Gambia. And Ghana and Nigeria, we changed our systems from GCNet to ICOMS. And so when we changed the system, we had to restart everything. So presently, Ghana has not been able to roll that thing out, but it is in the process. Now we have limited communication with Togo. And we have also a roadmap designed with Cote d'Ivoire. And constantly we are meeting to ensure that we roll on. And I would also say that the Ghana Link, which is our service provider, is also sponsoring, and each day that they are constantly ensuring that it is brought to fruition. And so we have given ourselves, in fact, we gave ourselves by November. By the end of November, at least we should have been able to roll it out between Togo, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. But we have not been able. And so at our recent meeting, which came off about just last week, Wednesday, we have revised the rollout to January. So we hope that by the end of the end of the first month of 2023, we will go live.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Also, let me go online and speak to Mr. Felix Kwachi and find out from you, first of all, whether you've heard about SIGMAT and what do you make of it?
Thank you very much, and good evening to my good friend Peter in your studio. SIGMAT actually is an ECOWAS product. It is an ECOWAS product. Therefore, it begins from the ECOWAS Commission. Yes. So I think Peter has ably explained what SIGMAT is. And indeed, if I may take you back, West African countries used a convention known as the Interstate Road Transit of Goods, ISRT, which is a paper-based or is a manual-based transit system which operates in ECOWAS countries. So for quite a while, ECOWAS has been looking at leveraging on ICT to reform the transit regime within West Africa, to improve it and to look at how to make it more efficient than it is. And as Peter explained, SIGMAT is an IT solution for the exchange of transit messages between customs administrations based on the interconnectivity of the national customs IT system. So SIGMAT is an ECOWAS product which was launched in 2019. And as at now, the vision of ECOWAS is to get all ECOWAS member states, all 15 ECOWAS member states, connected to SIGMAT. So if I can go forward,
yes,
I would say that as at now, we have, since 2019, we have 5 countries which have successfully deployed SIGMAT and using SIGMAT with amazing results. And these countries, we have Côte d'Ivoire, Niger, Burkina Faso, Togo, and Benin. So
those are 4. Mr. Kwaji, those are 4. You said 5. Mali, okay. Mali inclusive, okay. All right, sure. All right.
Not Mali. Not Mali.
Okay.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire, okay. Sure.
Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Niger.
Yes.
Togo. And Benin.
Benin, okay. Sure.
5.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that is the first 5 block of countries which have successfully rolled out SIGMAT, and indeed the results are amazing. The next 5 block, which will include Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, and the Gambia, are the next group of countries.
Okay, so I think you've grouped them into Francophone and Anglophone. That's what I see here.
It wasn't intentional.
Okay.
it wasn't intentional,
okay.
I must admit.
All right.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, yes.
Okay.
So we have the next batch, which includes Ghana, and I think Peter has explained how far Ghana has gone
yes.
In their bid to deploy SIGMAT.
Okay, so we have 15 member countries, and so you are roping all of them in. And we have the first 5 as Côte d'Ivoire, Niger, Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin. And then we have the second phase that Ghana is involved. Ghana is inclusive. That's Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, and Gambia. And I want to find out from you, the last 5, when are they coming in?
Indeed, for these 5, which includes Ghana, they have completed all their technical and functional training, and their systems have been assessed and they are ready. Now, the next 5, we have already undertaken technical assessment of their state of their IT readiness, and they are also deemed to be ready. But they need to undergo training, both technical and functional training, which Ghana and the rest of the other 5 countries have already done.
Right. All right. So you mentioned in your earlier submission that the first 5, that's the Niger and its cohorts, they realized a lot of positive and amazing results. That's the word, amazing results. When you say amazing, what does that mean? What does that mean? How was it like, and how are you able to describe that as amazing when we still have challenges?
Good. Now, as Peter explained earlier on, that transit is a customs procedure and it's part of what we call the suspense regimes, which means that duties and taxes on the goods are suspended whilst in transit. Now, you will admit that that itself has its own inherent risk, security risk as well as revenue risk. Now, what SIGMAT does is one, it ensures that there is advanced transit cargo information. So if goods arrive in Ghana destined for Burkina Faso, once the goods leave Tema, Burkina Faso is aware. Paga border is already aware. They have all the information that relates to the goods in terms of the truck number, the description, the quantity, the value, the seal number, every information. Therefore, what that means is that already Paga, which is the last exit point for Ghana, is aware of all the information that relates to the goods. So is Burkina Faso. And therefore, information is already gone, and they are ready for the goods. Aside that, what that also means is that the goods are able to move much more faster or quickly through the various checkpoints, because already the information is there. And what is important is that when the truck arrives, you check the truck number, the seal number, all the information that you can easily gather from the truck, and the goods will pass. More importantly, revenue is secured because you are able to forestall diversion. And once you are able to forestall diversion, revenue is secured. Trade is facilitated. And overall, it engenders confidence in the transit trade. I must tell you that transit trade, even though it is an internationally recognized trade, but because of the uncertainty and the dangers which are inherent in the transit operation, there is a lot of fear. And all countries endeavor to put in place several measures to secure the revenue and also to ensure that security is also maintained. By so doing, trade is slowed down, the cost becomes very high. At the end of the day, the final cost is passed on to the final consumer in the country of destination. That is against international convention. The fact that they don't have, Burkina Faso doesn't have a coast, doesn't mean that they should suffer. They should be able to make use of the coast, the Ghana coastline. So at the end of the day, what SIGMA does is to generate confidence in the transit trade and secure revenue. So the results so far from all the 5 countries have shown increase in revenue, speed in the delivery of transit goods, and data is well generated, statistics covering all these goods. So that is what I can say. And indeed, let me just quickly add that SIGMAT also covers rail transit. As I speak with you now, between Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, they are using SIGMAT for rail transit, not only by truck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please stay with us. I'll be coming back to you. But let me come to you, Mr. Hunter Ofori, and find out. He mentioned just in his closing submission for this particular question that SIGMAT brings about an increase in revenue. It brings about speed in delivering of goods, and it also helps in the generation of data and all that. What impact that SIGMAT is coming to effect or make?
Yeah, thank you. As he has mentioned, the SIGMAT, the idea is to facilitate and enhance the economic level of the sub-region. And so when revenue is protected and then there is limited leakages and each country is getting the needed taxes, it is able to do its development. And so if you should take a country like Niger, it is trying so hard to interconnect just because it has realized that the interconnectivity brings about revenue improvement. That is one. And then the other thing is it reduces diversion.
Right.
Because presently there are certain business people, certain agents who have found loopholes in the present system,
right,
and they are diverting goods. What they do is they try to fish out the TIN numbers and the names of importers abroad.
Okay.
And then they use them to import the things. And so they put it under transit.
So the goods arrive in the country as though it's meant
going
for
on
transit.
transit.
Okay.
And then somewhere along the line, they find a way
of retaining it in the country.
Retaining it, and that brings about unfair competition.
Absolutely.
Because if someone is smuggling and another person is paying duty, they cannot all sell at the same.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so what stigma?
The one that smuggles will sell at the cheaper rate.
At a cheaper rate. And meanwhile, the government is not going to benefit anything because
the government will not collect duty.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's a serious business that the ECOWAS is doing. And it is to enhance cooperation among the sub-region and also enhance custom to customs fraternity.
Right.
It will be easy for us to, or for let's say Ghana and Togo to exchange information about goods whose movement is doubtful. And so the impact is a lot. One of the things that the ECOWAS would want to do now is to employ the services of a guarantor.
Right.
And so we would have a regional guarantor. And then the regional guarantor will have representative on all the transit corridors. And so that where there is infraction, he pays. And so in the sub-region, we have that security where goods that are diverted, the duties are secured in the sub-region.
Okay.
So these are some of the other impact is that it is going to weed out those people who would want to comply. So and also enhance voluntary compliance.
Right. Yes. Okay. I will come back to the issue of guarantor, and I just want to find out from you. Does this guarantor comes from a public space or a private space?
The guarantor is going to be appointed by the ECOWAS Commission.
Okay.
It is going to go through the procurement, international competitive tendering, and it will I would say that be broadcast in the newspapers. The daily papers in all the countries in the sub-region.
Right.
And then so those who think that they have the financial muscles and will apply. And so then they will go, in fact, it is the members of the ECOWAS themselves who will do the evaluation. Yes. And then those who come out successful will be appointed as and I'm sure it is not going to be too many, maybe one or two guarantors who will be doing.
Is that an example of a place where this guarantor system has existed and has worked for them?
I think that the ECOWAS Commission itself, my brother
Mr. Kwachi,
Mr. Kwachi, can give you vivid history on this.
All right.
But I think even in the East African region, it is happening and it is doing well. Okay. In fact, when the guarantor system is well rehearsed, it is going to facilitate speed because as it is now, if goods are moving from Nigeria to, let's say, Cote d'Ivoire, between the border of Nigeria and Benin,
yes,
the security is expired. And then from Benin to Togo, they have to process another one. Between Togo and Ghana, and then through Ghana, they have to process what. But the regional guarantor, when the guarantee is processed, let's say in Nigeria, that is what is going to be used to cover the goods across from the country of departure to the country of
destination.
Right.
And so it is going to afford speed
Right.
and things like that. So
In the benefits that we're going to derive from SIGMAT, you mentioned it's stopping diversion and all that, but I didn't hear you mention smuggling. Is it going to, help halt smuggling as well?
yes, in this case, with respect to transit, I would define smuggling as goods on transit, and then as it has exited, say through Ghana, let's say the goods is going through Kulungungu, and then it gets to it's exiting through Kulungungu, but it's going to Burkina Faso, and then it gets to Kulungungu. It exits all right.
Yeah.
But between Kulungungu and Burkina Faso, there is a distance. And so sometimes they find a way of returning the goods through different routes into Ghana. A case in point is with Togo, where the government of Togo, in order to facilitate trade, has built a mini port at Senkasi in the northern part of Togo.
Yeah.
And so goods that are moving from Togo port to Sankasi attract no duty.
Right.
And sometimes they say that some of the goods are actually going through Sankasi and transit to Ghana.
Ghana, okay.
And that your goods is coming. And so they will be expecting it. And we give a specific time that the goods should reach.
Right.
After that time, the country which is exporting it, the country of destination, will report to the country of departure that the goods did not come.
Arrive, yeah.
And so the guarantee will be executed for the duties to be collected. And so the SIGMAT, in a way, is also going to curtail the smuggling.
Okay.
In fact, the smuggling, when we say DP cars, let's say saloon cars that are meant for transit, there have been numerous times where my officers have arrested a lot of the vehicles.
Yes.
And sometimes after they have crossed the point of exit, they return through the numerous
different routes, yeah.
Then they come back. And the DVLA is also supporting, because should you go there and your chassis number shows that you have not paid the necessary duties, they report to customs.
So those are occasions where we find your men, on the streets randomly checking vehicles to see whether these are uncustomed vehicles or not.
Yes, exactly. That is one. And then the other one too, the Ghana Link, they provide the devices, and then they fix the devices in the vehicle.
Right.
So those vehicles that did not report at the point of exit, but maybe they did not know that when you cut the device still reports to our system that it is cut. So sometimes they will cut the device, throw it away. And when it happens, the device gives notification to us. And so we go and fish for that device. When we get the device, we are able to extract all the information. And then we will know the agents, the freight forwarder, who put those goods under transit. We will know the importer. And then we will start from there. We put the whole consignment under investigation. And through that, and we get them.
Right. Okay, let me go to Mr. Kwachi on the phones and via Zoom and find out from him. Mr. Kwachi, Mr. Ofori mentioned the guarantor thing. And from a layman's perspective, my understanding of it is that the guarantor would serve as form of an insurer and stand in to pay whatever fines that may accrue to an intransigent trader, or so. Is that right? If that is right, okay, explain to us. And I also want to find out from you when you are appointing this guarantor, because Mr. Ofori said that you're going to be appointing one pretty shortly. Where will the guarantor be stationed? These three questions, if you can mass them up and explain, it will do us a great deal of good, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. To explain guarantee simply is that, as Peter explained earlier, that in respect of transit goods, duties and taxes are suspended. They are not collected
Right.
while the goods are in transit. Now, there has to be something like a surety to secure those duties and taxes, so that in the event where they are not paid, then that surety will then come in and make good the duties and taxes. So the guarantee is a bond to cover the duties and taxes which are suspended while the goods are in transit. Now, I think it is important to say or to repeat what Peter mentioned, that when goods are in transit from the office of departure or from the point of departure to the point of destination, the guarantee or the bond that is issued to cover the duties and taxes to have a coverage enough to cover the entire length of the transit transaction. So, for instance, goods arrive in Tema, destined for Niger, Niamey. What it means that the goods are going to go through Ghana, go through Burkina Faso before they reach Niger. And even in Niger, the duties may not be collected at the point of entry, but it will be collected inland. They will escort the goods right inland to their main office, where the duties on the goods will be paid. Therefore, what we are looking at is to have what we call community guarantee mechanism,
Right.
where if a guarantee or a bond is posted in Tema, that bond is valid throughout Ghana, throughout Burkina Faso, right up to Niger. So the bond here covers 3 countries.
Right.
In the same vein, if goods leave Nigeria, destined for Côte d'Ivoire, the goods will cross Benin, Togo, Ghana before reaching Côte d'Ivoire. And therefore, if a bond or a guarantee is issued to cover the suspended duties and taxes, once they are issued in Nigeria, in Lagos,
Right.
that bond is valid right up to Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay.
So, since in terms of territorial coverage, it covers 4 countries or 3 countries, what that means is that the guarantor or whoever issues the guarantee or the bond must be recognized in Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, and Côte d'Ivoire. The recognition also means that that guarantor must have a presence in all these 4 countries. So this is how it's going to work. You have a community guarantor with a presence in all the 15 member countries,
Right.
who has signed an agreement with the community, that is the 15 member countries.
Yes.
And therefore, when goods leave Tema, destined for Niamey in Niger, and the goods disappear in Burkina Faso, the guarantor will have to make good the duties and taxes to the Burkina Faso government.
Right.
Because the goods have already exited Ghana, but did not exit Burkina Faso. So the community guarantor would have a presence in all the member countries, would have signed an agreement with ECOWAS Commission, and copies would have been sent to all the 15 member countries.
Right.
Therefore, if there is any infraction, depending on where the infraction occurred, the guarantor will make good the duties, taxes, and other liabilities which become due.
All right.
Have I answered all the questions?
You have. You
Thank
have.
you. Thank you.
You have. I just want to find out from you once again. Is there any legal basis for this SIGMAT project that you are rolling out?
Thank you very much. I thought you were never going to ask that question. Yes, indeed, there is. There is. Even though SIGMAT began as far back as 2019, it began as a pilot project. In December last year, the heads of states and governments of ECOWAS, member countries, adopted a supplementary act on ECOWAS community transit. ECOWAS community transit. So there is a supplementary act which has been adopted by the heads of states and governments of ECOWAS.
Right.
A supplementary act is a law, it's a community law, it's an international law, which binds all 15 member countries to implement this and effectively abrogates the existing interstate road transit of goods, which we normally call the ISRT.
Right. Okay. So I think that what you didn't answer with the previous question was when you are appointing the grantor. Do we have any timelines for the appointment of the grantor?
I wish I could tell you tomorrow, but certainly we expect to have the guarantor in place latest by the middle of next year.
Okay.
The process has begun, and because this is has to do with money, transparency is extremely important, and therefore ECOWAS will have to go through the various process of transparent procurement, and along the line, all the member states will be involved in evaluating the various applicants who would apply for that particular
work. Okay. All right. So let's come in studio. Let me come to Mr. Foro. He just mentioned money. I just want to find out from you whether this SIGMAT thing, implementing it in Ghana, would bring about some additional cost to the transit trader. Before you do that, I also wanted to find out from you why or how our preparations are going as a country. Because he mentioned that we're going to be in phase 2. Ghana alongside Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, and the Gambia. And I just want to find out from you how our preparations are going and whether this whole arrangement of SIGMAT is going to be cost addition. It's going to add some cost to what the already burdened transit trader would be paying.
Okay, so with respect to our preparedness, the Ghana Revenue Authority captioned or fashioned the whole assignment into a project, and the project name is SIGMAT.
Yes.
The project owner is the Deputy Commissioner for Suspense Regimes.
Okay.
And that is Gilbert Ohene.
Okay.
Yes, and then I am the project.
Gilbert Ohene?
Yes.
Okay.
Gilbert, yes.
Okay.
And
yes,
I am the project manager.
Yes.
The project coordinator is Commissioner for IT, Madam Titi Opare.
Okay.
And we also have representatives from Ghana Link, because they are our service providers to be part.
Right.
And together we form the SIGMAT team, and then we are doing the project. And so far, we have gone through the functional training.
Right.
We have also gone through the technical training. And the Ghana Link have also purchased the server that will house the SIGMAT.
Right.
And they are also trying to integrate the SIGMAT software into that of ICOMS. And so far, with Togo, they have been able to do it, and they are trying to interconnect with Togo.
Right.
We would have finished with Togo, but there are certain impediments. One of them is a language barrier. Where to place a dot, you need an interpreter.
Absolutely.
And so some of these things, and really it is where placing a dot or a slash. And the computer, if you don't do it well, it will not give you the answer. And each day we are on it. And we also have created a platform between Ghana and Togo, where discussions, though with little or much difficulty, that is what we are doing in order to overcome the impediments and rule out the Sigma.
Okay.
With our connection with Côte d'Ivoire, the World Bank, represented by one Christel, yes, is doing all that is possible to ensure that we also do the rollout. And so we have also created a WhatsApp group, and each day we are talking. For now, we have been able to exchange VPN addresses with Côte d'Ivoire also. And we have also drawn the roadmap. We have shared the user guideline. And so that is where we have reached now.
Right.
And the support from the management of GRA is
overwhelming. Okay.
It's overwhelming, and that of the Ghana link too.
Okay.
Yes, it's very, very encouraging.
Okay.
Now, with the next question, that whether it is going to
whether there's additional cost, yes.
It is rather going to reduce cost.
Okay. Okay.
And nobody is going to pay anything.
All right.
With respect to that.
To that. Okay.
But the ZIGMAT is not going to do away with our internal checks.
Right.
And so the fixing of the devices, which the importer have to pay, they will still continue to pay.
Right.
So that we can monitor the goods, because the devices also afford the transparency, integrity of the movement of the goods. Yes. And so there is not going to be any additional cost.
All right. This is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are discussing transit trade and how we can use interconnected systems to ensure safe management of goods in transit, the benefits that will accrue to all of us thereof. With me in the studios is Mr. Peter Antubreofori, who is the Assistant Commissioner in charge of transit at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Also joining us via Zoom is Mr. Felix Kwache, who is Principal Programs Officer and Head of Division, that's the Tariff and Customs Procedures at the ECOWAS Commission. We're going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. We're now going back to the discussion, and remember we're discussing the benefits of interconnectivity of systems, the benefits of interconnected systems for the management of goods in transit. And like I said, with me in the studios is Assistant Commissioner, that's Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority, in charge of transit, that's Mr. Peter Antubreofori. Also joining us via Zoom is Mr. Felix Kwashi, who is Principal Programs Officer and Head of Division, that's Tariff and Customs Procedures at the ECOWAS Commission. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. We'll continue with the discussion, but I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for them to call in and ask questions and contribute to the discussion. And the number to that is 02055283353. 02055283353. The number is already on your screen. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. So let me come back to, I think you were on when we went for the break, and I just want to find out from you. You mentioned Ghana's preparedness and how far we've come, some of the activities you've undertaken and all that, but mostly when you're rolling out some of these projects, stakeholder engagements cannot be overlooked. Have you held some stakeholder engagements to sensitize those that you work with that this is what we are rolling out and this is the role you're supposed to play to ensure that we have it successful?
Yeah. I would say that with the stakeholders engagement, we have the Interstate Road Transit Committee, and and it is a big platform where we discuss transit goods, and we discuss a lot of this, and presentations are made on that platform.
Right.
And we also have the Shippers Council Committee. It is made up of the Chamber of Commerce of both Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. Their Shippers Authority, and also the transport owners, and a representative from the freight forwarders.
Yes.
They are all on the platform. We have the police and all those who work at the port.
All right.
And so on that platform, presentations are made. Aside that, we have been able to have engagement with the freight forwarders as an association.
Right.
And we also have had another engagement with the transporters. As an association. In fact, the transporters is a lot. The association is a lot.
Right.
And they are very disciplined in terms of reporting to hear some of this.
Okay.
Fortunately, we have also recently launched the driver's guide.
Okay.
And the driver's guide also teach foreigners and even drivers what they should do and what they should not do on our roads.
Okay.
And so the engagement is going on.
It's ongoing, yeah.
But we also have internal stakeholders, that is the customs.
Yes.
You know, when we deploy this system, it is the custom officers at the exit point and the point of departure that will implement them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we have to have proper training for them.
Okay.
In having proper training, we have to get good content.
Good.
And so we have to design the content book. And then we have to do the trainers, to train.
Yeah, trainer of trainers.
Yes, trainer of trainers.
Yes.
And we want to do this harmoniously with both Togo and Cote d'Ivoire.
Right.
So that we would all be on the same page.
Okay.
But because we are still having challenges with the interconnectivity, we want to finish the interconnectivity
before you roll that. Okay. Let's go on to the phone lines. I understand from Taifa we have Benjamin who wants to contribute to the discussion. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please flow.
My greetings to Mr. Opori. Yes, so I would like to congratulate them for the good work that they are doing. And my question is, I've been worried, for the past years, these transit vehicles that flies on our road, from Accra, Kumasi, through to Paga, and so on and so forth. My question is, do they have any contribution? The transit vehicles or these are neighboring countries who do this transiting. Do they have any contribution in constructing our road, or do they have any contribution for the construction of our roads? Because it seems their vehicles are, damaging our roads a lot. So I don't know, maybe if I'm lacking behind. So if Mr. Opori can brief me about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benji. Good to have you on the show. He wants to find out whether our neighbors, the landlord countries, contribute to construction of our roads, because most of the vehicles, the heavy-duty vehicles we have, are from there. They come and they ply our routes, and we have our routes, getting spoiled all the time. So he wants to find out from you. I haven't seen that. I don't know. I don't know how to come in, but maybe you can help him out.
Facilitation of trade.
Yes.
Is regional agenda, and it comes at a cost and commitment to each of the nation that sign agreement to it.
Right.
And so it might be one of our costs, one of our commitment, one of our sacrifices to ensure that another nation is also not imperiled by the mere fact of its location.
Yes.
So that is one. But the second thing is that the average Ghanaian has the chance to take the opportunity available with respect to the transit trade. And so, for example, most of the transitors, they patronize our filling stations.
Right.
And they buy the fuel and then to feed their vehicles.
Yes.
And it is a source of employment also to us. With respect to the food vendors at the port. And also, when the goods come to the port, at least some administrative charges are paid. And you will bear with me that our port has been expanded a lot. And the transit business, in a way, generates indirect employment for us.
Absolutely.
Nothing at all, at least for our drivers.
Yes.
And yes, so that is it. That is the commitment
we have,
and then the indirect advantage. Yes.
All right, I'll go online and pick Harriet from Kumasi. But then let me tell Mr. Kwachi that I'll be coming to you. And when I come to you, I just want to find out from you whether by rolling out the SIGMAT initiative, you took into consideration the fact that there's always this issue of internet connection. internet connectivity, sometimes the downtimes are much more than the good times or the up times, if I can use that word. And so I'll be coming to you for that, whether you took that into consideration before rolling it out, so that every country that's implementing it will implement it fluidly and seamlessly. But let's go into the phone lines and welcome Harriet. She's calling us all the way from Kumasi. Hello, Harriet. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you very much for calling in. Please shoot.
I'm just calling to say this program is very educative, and thank you, Mr. Ankudre, for enlightening us on this program. I wish most of the youth will listen to the program because it's very insightful.
Thank you very much.
So I just want to promote your good work and say hello to Mr. Ankudre. My regards to him, and I'm enjoying the show.
All right. Thank you very much. No, there's a commendation, not a question, though. We are grateful to you, Harriet, all the way from Kumasi, for calling in. So let me go to Mr. Felix Kwache. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Did you hear the question I posed to you?
Yes, yes.
Great.
That is the internet connectivity.
Yes.
Admittedly, we have internet challenges in our region. Nonetheless, we must also recognize that all the customs administrations in the 15 member countries have their IT systems that they use in the clearance of goods. Therefore, what is happening is to link these IT systems of the various countries. So unless let's say in Ghana, the entire ICOMS is down. If the ICOMS is not down, and the Burkina Faso Asekuda is also not down, then it means that they can connect. And to get around this also, we have developed what we call Sigmat Mobile,
right,
which will be just the system, the Sigmat system, on a tablet or a mobile phone,
right,
which can also be used, especially those who go on the road. Let's say not Tema, but if you go along the transit corridor with the mobile phone, with the application on it, you can then access all the information and do some transactions even on the mobile phone.
Right.
So that makes it quite handy and also enables us get around some of these problems. But let me say that once, let's say, the entire custom system is not down, maybe at the border it is down, but then at the headquarters it is not down, then certainly Sigmat can continue to work. It can continue to work because it is actually not border to border, but it's a country system linked or interconnected with another country's entire system. So that is a way to get around this localized internet downtimes. So once it's a national something, we are able to surmount some of these challenges. But as I indicated, so far since 2019, it's been going on very well. It's been going on very well. But of course, there certainly has to be a plan B where, in case where everything is down, there has to be a what we call the fallback method to use. But so far, so good. So far, within the past 3 years that Sigmat has been in operation, it's been working very, very well.
Okay. All right. So let me just find out from you. I'm curious. I just want to find out from you, in terms of percentages, what would you say is the level of interconnectivity as far as Sigmat is concerned within our sub-region?
As I indicated, as at now, what we are doing is to connect one country to another, along the transit corridors. So Ghana is connecting to Burkina Faso and then to Togo. That is her immediate neighbors. And I believe they will also link up with Burkina Faso and then to Niger, because Ghana is central, because the port of Tema is used by Mali, it is used by Burkina Faso, it is also used by Niger, and therefore it is important to get connected with all these ones. And I think Ghana has it as part of their plans to connect with these 4 countries. But more importantly, we as ECOWAS also intend to link up what we call the Abidjan-Lagos corridor. The Abidjan-Lagos corridor covers about 80% of trade within the entire West African region.
Right.
And therefore, it is very, very important. Now that Cote d'Ivoire has SIGMAT, Ghana has SIGMAT, Togo has SIGMAT, Benin has SIGMAT, Nigeria has, but yet to deploy. As soon as Nigeria deploys, then we'll connect the entire 5 countries along the corridor. And that will be a major boost to intra-community trade within the West African region.
Okay, great. Please don't go yet. I'll come back to you. But let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Rahim, who's calling us all the way from Tema. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Tema.
Right. Sure. Please shoot.
Yeah, okay.
Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. My questions go to Mr. Ofori.
Yes.
Please, I want to know about Mr. Ofori and his teams at the border points. Because sometimes we do transactions and it will get to the border, and the officers at the borders will take the movement sheet and stamp the movement sheet and give it to our reps at the border, telling them that the transaction has been closed. And in a week's time, they will bring us outstandings that our transaction has not been closed. But if some of the officers the in charge should talk to his officers at the border, they rather put it on us, with the freight forwarders. Then they will block us. As of last week, our companies has been blocked. We did not work for 3 days.
Wow.
So I don't know what are they going to do about that. I don't know whether if this segment that they are bringing will help us to facilitate this outstandings and whatever they are calling. So my humble request to Mr. Ofori, if he could please do something about this outstandings for us, and the officers at the border should also do their work. Or if they can give us a giant screen at the border point, our reps can be checking whatever transaction has closed. Then maybe they can go to the giant screen and check, oh, fine, I've submitted my document to this officer. He has ended the transaction. But we don't have that. They will end up descending on us, the freight forwarders, that our items has not exited. We did diversion, then your company will be blocked. Moreover, it is the officers at the borders. They are those who did that.
Right.
So please, if Mr. Ofori can enlighten us about
Point
this.
well made. Point well made, Ibrahim. Thank you very much indeed. And regards to the people of Tema. Yes.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
Yes.
Sometimes they indicate that their transactions have been closed. Then a week later, they said no, it wasn't closed.
Yes, it is true what he's saying. And as you even asked about the internet connectivity, sometimes by the time they get there and the internet is down,
right,
the officers wouldn't want them to stay or delay them. And so they will say, okay, let me process your things for you manually, and then you can go. So that when internet is restored, I will do it. The internet will be restored, and still there will be work piled.
Yeah, so they sometimes forget.
They forget. Yes, that is one. The other one too is that the pressure of work, especially at Paga. You know, when the port expanded and they found customs rehearsed its procedures, and the time of release was enhanced. A lot of importers love to use the Tema port, but it is also an influx of tension at Paga.
Right.
And so sometimes the overwhelming nature of the work there will compel them to process manually for them, and then they will take their time to input. In the course of inputting, then they will, they may forget.
Right.
But he was saying that the blocking.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, we would want to say that each time that a freight forwarder put a consignment on transit, for example, the customs have been so liberal to the extent that they give them 10 days from the port of Tema to the northern part of, or the northern part of Ghana to exit. And we are saying that after the 10 days, if you have not exited, you will be blocked. And that is one. Two, some of them place goods. For example, they are going to Paga.
Right.
And then they will put goods that are going to, let's say, Hamile on Paga's track.
Right.
So when the goods get to Paga and they process for it to go, there will be a consignment in it that will not be covered.
Yes.
And we will not know where the goods have passed because even when they go to Paga, they did not tell the officers that
they were goods meant for.
And so it will stand against your company that you have not exited these goods.
Right.
But in their minds, because the goods have exited at Paga, they think that is all. So when we block them, they don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah. So the blocking is that if even you have about 3 consignments that have not crossed,
yes,
you are liable to blocking.
Okay.
We block them to tell them that we are serious about this rollout. And then after some time, we unblock them and warn them that we are giving them 1 month.
Yes.
If you know that you have outstandings, go to the port and reconcile.
Right.
Because after 1 month, when we block you, until you have actually
and the reconciliation and all
the reconciliation, we're not going to give you. And it is one of the measures to ensure that all transit goods actually exit and go to the country of destination.
Great. Okay, let me go online and put a final question to Mr. Felix Kwashi. And find out from you when you are expecting, this whole Sigma thing to be fully implemented in our sub-region, say. Just in 2 minutes or in 1 minute, because we are running out of time already.
Yeah, certainly by next year, we expect all countries to be on board. By the end of the first quarter, we expect all the second 5 countries.
Yes.
To all of them joining. That's the Ghana group.
Okay.
And then by the June next year, we expect the last 5 to also join.
Okay.
So next year, by the middle of next year, we expect all countries to be on board.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much indeed for joining us all the way from Nigeria. We're grateful to you, and our regards to the folks at the ACOS Commission. We've been speaking to Mr. Felix Kwashi, who is Principal Program Officer and Head of Division Tariff and Customs Procedures at the ACOS Commission. Let me come to you, AC, and your final words in terms of how soon you are wrapping up your preparations as a country.
In terms of how soon, we would want to say that between Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo, by January, we should, and we are also optimistic that we can do it. And then from there, because the other countries do have the same system as Togo and Cote d'Ivoire, it will not be too difficult for us to implement.
Okay.
And now my last word is that the Commissioner of Customs will also want to establish this first port rule. He wants to quicken it, so that where the internet issue, the first point rule basically is to collect revenue on behalf of the country of destination.
Okay.
And so all these things are done just to enhance trade facilitation and also to help the Zeguma to roll out.
Thank you very much indeed. Assistant Commissioner Peter Antubreofori, Assistant Commissioner in charge of Transit at the Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division. And that's how we draw the curtain on tonight's edition of High on Port here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the discussion has been centered on the benefits of interconnected systems for the management of goods in transit. The name is Kennedy Mona. We entreat you to watch the abridged version of the show on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. We say maximum thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, as well as MPS. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority-GPHA. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition, and we entreat you to have a super week ahead.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
The world has seen a lot of evolution in recent times. Global network facilitated by trade continues to grow stronger and forge nations closer together.
On International Trade Focus,